Hello everybody. Welcome to my first ever video version of a crochet pattern roundup. I have done, I think, 2 or 3 of these pattern roundups over the last couple of months, really in 2021. I had to put them on hold because of our move and all of the craziness that came along with that, but I'm excited to bring them back, and I am playing around with figuring out how to record myself here on my computer so that I can screen share and walk you through the newest pattern roundup that is all about super chunky cardigans. We still have some cold weather, a lot of us, that's going to be coming. Oh, realized that was tangled. We still have quite a bit of cold weather before spring and summer hits, and since this is a focus on chunky and super chunky cardigans, they're quick to work up. So you have time to make a few of these for yourself or as gifts for friends before the warmer weather hits. So with that being said, we can get started. Okay, so here we are at therealpinksheepdesign.com. If you are not following my blog, you can come to my site here, click on the blog, and you can see all of the different articles that I have available. And you can already see up top here, I have 2 crochet pattern roundups that you can see. I also have a few more. One is here, Simple Summer Projects, and one is here, Cropped Tops, Tees, and Tanks. So the newest one is right here, this first one, the Crochet Pattern Roundup for Chunky Cardigans. And you can click here. And you can subscribe to my blog via email here. So if you put your email address in here and you click subscribe, you will get notified anytime I post a new blog. And this is separate from my newsletter. So this will only alert you if I have posted a new blog. You won't get emails from me about anything else. Okay, so let's get started. I'm super excited about this one. I'm actually really just excited about pattern roundups in general because it allows me to spend time researching designers, finding new designers, and then bringing them to you so that you can expand your crochet community, find designers to support. It's just really fun, and I get to usually, obviously, I include some of my patterns in there because super chunky and chunky yarn is definitely my thing. So you will see some of my patterns mixed in here as well. So let's get started. The first cardigan in the pattern roundup that I wanted to highlight is the Katie cardigan. Now, the Katie cardigan was created by Stevie of Little Carp Crochet. Stevie actually has been a pattern tester for me for quite a while now. She started testing for me with my Dobby cardigan, which is also included here in this pattern roundup. And she's just a wonderful person. I love having her as part of my team, and to see her now releasing her own patterns is extremely exciting. So we're going to click here. I do a little recap, a little overview about what you'll need for each pattern in my blogs, but I try not to go into too much detail. I really want you to just be able to see the patterns. You can see what sizes they come in, which will allow you to say, okay, well, if this one doesn't have my size, I'm not even going to click on it. I can just see what else is available. Now, I do try to stick with patterns that are more size inclusive than not. You're not usually going to see me feature patterns that only have like a one size fits all, unless there's something extremely unique about them. So let's click here on the Katie cardigan. I do stick with Etsy listings. This just helps me kind of keep everything in one space. Etsy is a reputable site. I know you can also use Ravelry, and a lot of these patterns are available on Ravelry. So you can search the name of the pattern if you'd prefer to purchase it on Ravelry. So you can see here the Katie cardigan. You can learn more about the item here, and you can obviously scroll through more of the photos that she has in the listing. So it is an extra small to 3X. You use a 10mm hook and a chunky 5-weight yarn, and you're going to be using moss stitch. So if we zoom in on this pattern, you can see here, you can see that wonderful, and I love moss stitch. I think it's beautiful to use for apparel and blankets and all of that. So I love seeing that, and she's obviously got the ribbing added here as well. So super cute cardigan. I knew that I wanted it on the list. Plus it's got a hood, so that is super fun. So let's see, we're going to go back. The next cardigan on my list is the Alamosa Crochet Hooded Cardigan by Mama in a Stitch. Now, Mama in a Stitch, she is a well-known designer, well-known pattern designer. And let's see, I did not include her name, Jessica. So you can see down here when you go to Etsy, if you scroll down, you can see who the owner of the store is. So this is Jessica's Alamosa Crochet Hoodie pattern. We'll scroll through some of these photos. This is the one I used in the blog, but you can see a few more here, especially this up close one. This did not fit into the cropped section of my photos. I was going to use this one, but I love the pockets on here. I think this is very unique. It's very simple. You know, she doesn't have any extra ribbing down the front or down the bottom. It's kept very simple along those lines, which I really like. And you can see here in the description, features an oversized hood and comfy pockets. And I do like the depth of the pockets here. It does look like maybe she has a little bit, I can't really tell. I don't think that there's ribbing here. That might be front or back post crochet along the bottom of the sleeve, but I'm not really sure. Okay, so she does say that this is an easy cardigan, maybe not for brand new beginners. You'll want to know your basics. You're going to need an 11.5 millimeter crochet hook or the size to obtain your gauge. And then you're going to be using super bulky size 6 yarn for this one. Okay, so I really like this one. I thought this was super cute. Definitely wanted to add it to my list for this newest pattern Roundup. Okay, the next one on the list is my Luna cardigan. This one was my very first ever crochet full-length sleeve cardigan, so it is near and dear to my heart. It has really become a classic design, especially for beginners who are just starting out making their own crocheted wearables. It is a very simple pattern, lots of photos to guide you, just going through some of these photos so you can see. I try to include images of people of all different body sizes so you can really see what the cardigan will look like on your body type. And then I also wanted to note that this pattern has its own YouTube playlist now. I actually created a live crochet along for this pattern, and I will show you that. So if you are not following me here on YouTube, I definitely recommend giving me a follow. I'm super excited to be able to add more stuff like this to my list. Let's see, it doesn't want to let me click on this. Here we go, my channel. Okay, so here's my channel, and if I come to playlists, right here, the Luna Cardigan Crochet Along. Now I don't want that to start playing right now, but you can see down here it is 6 different videos. Each one is about an hour long. It took me about 6 hours to complete this cardigan live, so you can follow along. If you are just learning how to read crochet patterns, you can purchase the pattern here and then follow along with the playlist. So I figured that would be a really fun way to do a crochet along in that kind of live format. All right, so on to the next 3 cardigans on the list. I have included the Chryslin cardigan by Joni of Ruby Webs. This was a new designer, new to me. I tried to go into Etsy and favorite a lot of different designs, especially from designers I had not heard of or purchased patterns from. I do try to look at their sales. So this person, it is Joni. So Joni of Ruby Webs. She has had over 125,000 sales, so she is a very established designer. She's got 4.9 stars, which is great. You're always going to have some people who might put in a negative review because maybe they got confused on something on the pattern, but 4.9 stars for 6,000 reviews is pretty stinking good. And right now it looks like the pattern is on sale for only $2.99. So let's go down to the description and check this out really quick. This is only available in 4 sizes, so it is a little less on the size inclusive side than I would usually like to see, especially for established designers. But you do also have to think this might be one of their older patterns, and sometimes it's difficult to go back and add those sizes later. So I have not looked to see if this is a newer design or if if her newer patterns are a little more size inclusive. But this one does go from an extra small to an extra large. And I just thought it was kind of nice. I don't have a lot of patterns that are longer cardigans, so I definitely wanted to highlight a few of these cardigans that had that longer length, especially since I keep promising I'm going to do a longer cardigan. I promise it's coming at some point, but for now I wanted to highlight a few other makers who had some of those longer options. And I think the length is really nice, hitting just above the thigh. And then the ribbing is really nice as well. And the sleeves, it looks like they may be tapered. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're not oversized. So that gives you a bit more of a classic fit. All right, so let's go back. Okay, the next one is the Dwell Sweater by Jess of Make and Do Crew. Now, this is a designer I'd heard of, Make and Do Crew. She has tons of free patterns on her website and her blog. I believe this one might actually also be available as a free pattern, but I really try to focus on the PDF purchasable files, because I really want people to understand how much goes into the designing of these patterns. And if they have, this is $4.30. If you have $4, it helps support the designer. So I really try to make sure that when I feature a pattern that I send you to a place where you can actually purchase the downloadable PDF, like Etsy or Ravelry, where you can help support these designers a little bit. But I do believe that this pattern is available as a free pattern as well. Let's see. The skills needed include double crochet and post stitches. Although if you haven't tried post stitches before, she says this is a safe project to give them a go, as their use within is quite basic. And you can see she's got some great reviews on this one, as well as some photos of people who made their own Dwell cardigans, which I love. So that's another thing. If you're not sure what this is going to be like, you can always check the reviews. Etsy lets you go through and you can see if there are photos with that specific pattern and see how people have put their own spin on it and if they, enjoyed the pattern. So let's see, I think that's everything. Okay, so here is the sizing. There are only 3 sizes, so again, not extremely inclusive, but I do feel like this one is a little more of an oversized kind of fit. So you probably have a lot more leeway with the sizing, because it only has the small, medium, large XL, and 2X, 3X. And she does have the bust in inches of what you would want to choose. And I think, let's see, okay, so she did not list what you needed for this pattern on here, which is always a little frustrating for me. I actually think I had to go onto Ravelry, so let's go back, because I did list it here. You will need a size 5, so a bulky size yarn, and a 10mm crochet hook. So I had to go, I think, to Ravelry, and that's always, if you find a pattern on Etsy and it does not list the hook size or the yarn size, then you can try and see if that is listed on Ravelry, because Ravelry requires you to list that. So that's a good place to go if you're kind of wondering, okay, I like this pattern, but that's not enough information for me to purchase the pattern, because I don't know if I have the right hook or the right yarn, and I don't want to have to go buy it after I buy the pattern. You can check Ravelry for that information. Okay, the next one is my Granger cardigan. So we'll click here. Okay, so the Granger cardigan, for me, it's another one of my more cropped styles. It's got the ribbing here on the bottom. I used a size 6 super bulky roving style yarn for this. Now, this particular yarn has been discontinued by Lion Brand. It was Lion Brand roving stripes, but any size 6 roving style yarn will give you this look. And if we scroll through these photos, people used all different types of yarn to create theirs. We've got some woolies, thick and quick. This was a super bulky yarn from Aldi. I think she was based in the UK though, so it really does depend on what you have locally. We had one made out of blanket yarn. This is Hometown USA by Lion Brand, and then another Wool-Ease Thick and Quick by Lion Brand yarn. So lots of different options for this cardigan. It is definitely, like I said, a cropped style. You can add length easily if you are comfortable reading crochet patterns. I tried to make my patterns easily customizable so that you can add length if you would like to. Okay, this is also something about my patterns that I like to make sure I share. All of my patterns, at least my newer ones, and I believe the Granger was one of the first ones that I started doing this for, but I always have a size chart at the end that showcases each of my testers wearing their item. It tells you which size they created, and it also tells you their personal measurements to help you figure out what that size will look like on you if you have similar measurements to that tester. So super helpful. All right, and again, you will need a super bulky size 6 weight yarn and a 15 or 15.75 or 16 millimeter crochet hook, whichever one you are able to get a hold of or whichever one you need to match gauge. And then I also have some reviews on this one. This is one of the reviews, and then this one. So this person definitely took their own style for this cardigan. They added a much larger band, more here to customize it the way they wanted. They added pockets. It almost doesn't look like a Granger. I just lost the name. Granger, yes, I always get my Granger cardigan and my Ginny sweater mixed up. They took a lot of style elements to add, and I love that because my goal for my patterns is to keep them simple enough that you can add your own style, you can add elements that are different and really create something that is your own. Okay, so the next 3 designs, we have the Wick Cardigan by Angie of Whistle and Wool. Now, I do have to say, I had heard of Angie before, at least her brand name Whistle and Wool. She does have quite a few cardigans. She's got 7,000 sales on Etsy and 539 reviews, also at 4.9 stars, which is great. Let's see. So these are some of the photos that she's got. Now, she only has photos of herself wearing the item. And let's scroll down. Okay, so we do have a few people who made their own though. All right, so here's one. I love the colors on this one. Here is another one of someone who created this cardigan and left a review. Both of these 5-star reviews. It looks like we may have a few more down here. So you can click on each of these photos and check out those reviews. If we go to the description, let's see. Okay, so this is another one. Oh, no, it's not. She has it here. So you would need super bulky size 6 yarn for this one. And I don't see the hook size. I may be missing it, but I don't see it. So this is another one that I believe I had to go to Ravelry to find the hook size. So if we go back to my blog post, 12 millimeter, oh, nope, this one. Where is it? 15.75 or a 16 millimeter hook. So I had to get that information off of Ravelry. But this is another one that I loved because it has the pockets and it's the longer length. Because again, I don't actually have any patterns that are that kind of thigh or below the hip length. So I really wanted to highlight a few super chunky cardigans that had a longer length to them and had some pockets. The next one here is just so fun. This one's called the Polly Cardigan by Courtney of I Love Tinderbox. I have featured Courtney's designs before in my pattern roundups. She is similar to the other designers. She's got five stars, 97 reviews. She has some really unique designs, and I love her aesthetic. She's got kind of that moody aesthetic to her photos that I think is beautiful. Very different from what I have, which is what I love. I love getting to showcase designers that have a different look, a different style from me. But I love these oversized pockets. It looks extremely cozy, and it is, I believe, a beginner-friendly cardigan. At least it looks like it is. So she's got the materials listed. You'll need a 12 millimeter hook, and she used as well, this is also a roving super bulky weight yarn, just like what I used with the Granger cardigan that I just showed you guys. So this was Lion Brand 50/50. I believe that that is still available. I don't think they've discontinued that. I could be wrong because Lion Brand loves discontinuing their yarn. But she also has the yardage needed for each one. So you can make sure you have what you need before you purchase the pattern. It does not say... Let's see. It doesn't say that it's beginner friendly, but it says that it works up quick and has very little seaming. And it does look simple. So if we zoom in, it looks like maybe she's using a half double crochet stitch there, and it does look like it's mostly one piece. It looks like maybe you create this pocket down off the body of the sweater and then fold it up and seam it, is what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong. But I think it's a beautiful cardigan. It's got a very minimalistic vibe to it. So I thought it would be a really fun one to include in this roundup. The next one is my Dobby cardigan. So the Dobby cardigan is also available as a free pattern on my blog. So I'm going to open up another... Okay, here we go. So I'm back on my main site. I'm going to go to my blog. If you go to my blog and you come up here to search, and you type in Dobby, it will be the first thing that pops up right here. So the free pattern, Dobby's Hooded Cardigan. So you can follow along with this one for free. I created this as part of the Furls blog hop, and I used their Whims Merino. This is actually a size 4 weight yarn, but I included it on this because you have to hold it double stranded. And 2 size 4 weights usually equals about a size 5, which would be a bulky size yarn. So this is double stranded size 4 yarn. It also gives you the opportunity to play around and do a little stash busting with some of your lighter weight yarns, because you're going to be combining those yarns together to create this cardigan. I do have photos, a photo tutorial as part of the free blog, so you do get your images. I think there are more images. So if we come back over here to Etsy, I do usually include more tutorial images in the actual PDF pattern. And if you don't like ads on your pattern, you can come over here and purchase this one. But I do have, let's see, looks like I have a video. And it won't let me bring that up. But this is kind of a fun video. It shows you the hood. It is an oversized hood, kind of a pixie hood because of the little pop piece up here. And then these are some of the images from my testers who created this. It is, again, it's not cropped, but it is at the hip. So it does hit you right at the hip bones, but it's not a full crop jacket. So these are just a few more of the images of testers. There we go. And I have it down here. Sizing for this one, this is before I had as big a pool of testers as I do now. So for this one, I do not have my extra small or my extra small sizing. It starts at a small/medium and it goes up to a 2X/3X. I have the yardage listed, and then it says that you will need a 4 weight yarn, but you're going to be holding 2 strands of yarn together for the project, and you would need a 10mm hook. I've also started trying to add my gauge, so if you need to check your gauge before you purchase the pattern, I've tried to include that in the listing. Okay. All right, back to... here is our next 3. All right, so the next one, super cool. I was really excited to feature this one, even though it's considered a jacket by the designer, which I am planning on doing a crochet roundup for bulky and super bulky crocheted jackets. So those have a little bit of a different look, but she has a whole nother pattern that is much more jacket-like. So I decided to use this one for this roundup. Okay, so Capitana Uncino, and I am sorry if I'm saying that incorrect, but it is Alina is the designer. And this is the reason that I really wanted to highlight this jacket. I've actually purchased this pattern and I am about halfway through. I have to finish the sleeves, but the main reason that I chose this jacket is because I wanted to learn new techniques in 2022. And this jacket is created using almost exclusively the slip stitch. So instead of using the slip stitch as a way to join rows or as a border, she uses it for the entire cardigan, which I was really intrigued by. She does offer this pattern in 6 sizes from extra small to extra, extra large. And it is considered an intermediate or an advanced pattern, but honestly, because it is created using only one type of stitch, as long as you can read the pattern, she does have good instructions and good photos to guide you along the way. So if you are maybe more of an advanced beginner, you've already got some patterns under your belt and you're pretty good at reading them, I would say this would be a fine one to try. I'm really enjoying the project. She is also someone she's got over 20,000 sales of her patterns and over 1,000 reviews. She's at 4.8 stars. So you can go through, and check her reviews, check out her other patterns. But this one, I just thought it was such a unique design. I believe she uses this a lot in her patterns, the slip stitch as the main piece, but it was just super unique. And I love a cropped cardigan. Almost all of my patterns are cropped cardigans. So I was a big fan and I was super excited to get to support her. So I will definitely be sharing my finished project when I finish this is the Nava, where is it? The Nava jacket. Oh, it says it. Oh, it doesn't say it up here. Right here. The Nava jacket right here with ribbing. So I will definitely be sharing that once I finally get it finished and get myself off of Sleeve Island. Okay, next up is the Rosewood Coat by Grace of For the Frills. This is another one that, even though it said coat, to me it looked more like a cardigan, so I decided to go ahead and share it with this one. This is another one that utilizes the moss stitch, which is just beautiful. I think it's fantastic on wearables. It's just got a very lovely look to it, and then the pockets are just great. This is another one that has a very minimal look to it. There's not any extra ribbing around the neck or around the bottom. It's kept very, very simple. But I think that makes it very beautiful, especially if you like that minimalist look. This is another designer. I believe I had heard of her before, but I have not featured. I don't think I have featured any of her patterns. Her name is Grace. She has a lot of different patterns in her shop. She's got over 15,000 sales, 755 reviews at 4.9. And like I said, she calls this one the Rosewood, and I don't think it's listed on here. I don't think that... oh, here it is. Yes, Rosewood Coat. Like I said, some of these patterns I had to go to Ravelry to find some of the different information about them, like the name, the yardage, the hook sizes, and all of that. This one is fully size inclusive. It goes from extra small to 5XL. It is a beginner-friendly pattern written in U.S. terms. I think all of the ones that I've been listing in my roundups have been U.S. terms. But yeah, $4.11. Very affordable pattern. So check that one out if you are looking for and again, this is a longer cardigan option, which is really nice. I think that I had to find the information on the yarn for that one on Ravelry, but you would need a bulky 5-weight yarn and a 9mm hook for that pattern. This is, let's see, the next one is my Indian Summer Cardigan. This was one of my I think it was my very first cardigan pattern. It was the one that I did right before my Luna, so it had the shorter sleeves, so I still hadn't made a full-length sleeve cardigan at this point. I had very few testers helping me out, so this design is not as size inclusive as I would like. It's one that I would really like to revisit and add some more sizes. It does currently go up to large XL, I believe. I've got small medium, medium large, and large XL. Lots of photos to guide you, and you will need super bulky weight yarn and a 10mm crochet hook. So yes, that is the Indian Summer Cardigan. So do some of these close-ups. Most of my testers used either, like this is Hometown USA by Lion Brand Yarn with a border of Wool Ease Thick and Quick, but most of my testers used the same. This is also Hometown USA, and then we've got, these are Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. This one is as well. This one and this one are all Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. Okay, we've got two more sets of three. The first one here is the Chunky Balloon Sleeve Bomber by Claire of King and I Crochet. So let's check this one out. This one, I just loved it because, again, this is another very minimal design. She does not have a border across the front or along the bottom. It's kept very clean on the lines, and I really did think the balloon sleeve was really nice. It's a very large balloon sleeve, so it's definitely a statement cardigan. But isn't that beautiful? I love the yarn that she chose. This looks like a bulky roving. I'm not sure if this is super bulky. I think it may just be a size 5. Let's look. Oh, it does say size 6. It does say she used a size 6 super bulky yarn and a 12 millimeter hook. But you can also see some of these reviews. So this is someone who created it. Definitely a heavier looking yarn here, but still very beautiful with those crazy balloon sleeves. Very wonderful. And look, here's another one as well. Now this person added their own elements. So they added ribbing around the sides that is not in the pattern, and they also added ribbing to the sleeves. So they really took that and created it, turned it into something that was their own. So yeah, I think that one's really beautiful. I wish she had some more photos that were a little further pulled back from the cardigan. I feel like all of these are super, super close up, which makes it a little more difficult to see what it looks like full on her. But it's very pretty, and it is fully size inclusive from extra small up to a 5XL. So great option if you love those really unique statement pieces. Okay, next up is the bulky raglan cardigan by Courtney of Ginger Knot Shop. This is a new designer to me. I had not heard of Courtney until I found this design on Etsy. She has less sales. She's at just over 1,000 sales, 119 reviews, 4.8 stars. But this was just a great little classic cardigan. It's also worked from the top down, which is wonderful because you don't have any seaming. It looks like her photos, just from this photo, she's probably got some great images in her actual pattern. But I thought that was really, really nice. I think it's just a really cute, simple cardigan. This uses size 5 yarn, size 5 bulky yarn, and an 11.5 millimeter hook. Let's see. I just realized I don't know if this has any additional sizes. Let me go back really quick to my blog post because I think I looked her up. So it doesn't say it in the Etsy shop, but I looked her up on Ravelry, and it says that the design is written for sizes extra small to 3X. So it is more size inclusive than I thought. I was about to say, oh, I try not to put one size fits all designs in here, but Ravelry does say that this is extra small to 3X for this bulky raglan cardigan. Next up is my final design that's been featured in this roundup. It's the Trilani cardigan. This is the cardigan that followed up my Luna design. It is very, very similar to the Luna. The biggest difference is the sleeves. I wanted something that was a little crazy on the sleeves, so I actually created a decrease just below the elbow, and then you make them super long so that you can fold them back over on the cuff of the sleeve. Now, not everyone did that. Some people just shortened it so that they didn't have the cuff sleeve, which is perfectly fine. But you can see here, very different yarn used here and the fold over on the sleeve. Now, a lot of these used the yarn that I used, which again is discontinued. That was the Lion brand roving stripes, this one right here. But any size 6 super bulky roving yarn would give you this same effect. Now, this was a very different, a lighter weight yarn, so you can see even though she matched my gauge, it fits the way that it should. It's got a bit more of a holiness to it, which gives it a very different look, and I love that. I love when people play around with different yarn to give the cardigans a different look to them. But these are all photos of the Trilani cardigan. So again, Similar to the Luna, but very different sleeves. And I think I added a little bit more length. The Luna cardigan is definitely even more cropped than this, so there's a little bit of extra length added to this one. So this one is extra small / small to 2/3X. So again, I have not gone back to this one and added additional sizes. That is on my to-do list. You will need either a 15 or a 16 millimeter crochet hook. I tend to crochet very tightly, so some people do have to size down on their hook, so that's why I usually put 15, even if I may have used a 16 millimeter. But this one, it doesn't look like I have the gauge listed, so I need to go back and add that, but it is listed in the pattern. You can also see a few different people who created their trilani cardigans and have posted some photos with their finished items, which is always extremely fun for me to get to see. You can see the folded up sleeve here. Okay. Time for our final 3. This is the Solvig cardigan by Justina of Lady J Crochet, who I also had heard of before this, but I do not believe I've had the opportunity to feature any of her designs. So we'll go through. I love this one. I think it's the longest cardigan that I have featured on this particular roundup. I love the front border that's got almost the ribbing look to it. No bottom border. It looks like probably a tapered sleeve because it's not super oversized, but a beautiful cardigan. And I figured that it would fit in perfectly with this roundup. This one is, it has a small, medium, large XL, and a 2X, 3X with the bust range. It involves no seaming except for the shoulders, and she does say that she has a video tutorial provided to walk you through the shoulder seam. So if you are a super beginner, it sounds like this would be a great opportunity for you. She has the photograph tutorials, terminology guide, link to video tutorial for the shoulder seam, and finishing instructions. And I don't think it lists, it does not list what you need for this one, yarn and hook, but I believe I found that on Ravelry. So if we go back to my blog post, I try to keep it all in one place for you. You will need a bulky 5-weight yarn and a 10 millimeter and 11 millimeter crochet hook for this design. So it sounds like she probably uses a different hook size maybe for the ribbing, which I see a lot in patterns. Okay, next up is the Dotty cardigan pattern by Jordan of the Hook Up Crochet Co. Now, this is interesting because this pattern is not a size inclusive pattern when it comes to, having 9 different sizes with the instructions for those sizes. She does say that it is a one size pattern and it's meant to be oversized, but comes with instructions on how to customize its size. Even though it is not a fully size inclusive pattern with instructions for all the different sizes, I just love the look of this pattern. It really stuck out to me. I've had it saved in my favorites here on Etsy for quite some time, waiting for the opportunity to feature it because I just love that look. And it does seem like it's one of those patterns that would be easy for someone who has at least a little bit of pattern knowledge to be able to alter and make a little bit larger or change it up to make it fit them the way that they would like. And you can see here is someone who created the pattern for themselves and gave a 5-star review. I think that's the only photo review of that particular one. She's got 839 sales, 4.9 stars, 65 reviews. So a growing, budding designer, but I absolutely love the look of this cardigan, and I felt like it needed to be shared in this roundup. So she does say that you'll need 460 yards of blanket yarn, which is a super bulky size 6. So you could use any super bulky size 6 you wanted, most likely for this pattern, and a 16 millimeter hook. All right, we've got one more pattern to talk about for this roundup, and that is the Crop or Knot Cardi by Michelle of MJ's Off the Hook Designs. This is a new designer to me. And I love this. It actually reminded me of my Granger cardigan, but she uses this herringbone stitch, which is beautiful with these buttons, and she has the option to either make it a cropped sweater like it's shown here, or a long cardigan with pockets, which is beautiful. And who doesn't love patterns that have multiple options so that you can make it the way that you want it? But I absolutely loved this. I think it's beautiful. Look at all the buttons up the front of this one. Absolutely gorgeous, classic look to me, timeless, a timeless design. But I thought this was a beautiful one, and I felt like this was definitely one worth including in this pattern roundup. And there are a few reviews that have people who have created this cardigan with 5 stars. Here's another one. Beautiful. And there's a few more down here, so you could actually go through and see. Let's see, this one right here, which is used, almost looks like a mohair kind of yarn. But beautiful, beautiful design. This one has sizing, fully size inclusive, extra small to 5X, all of the measurements you would need, and it says that you will need, I believe that these are a size 5 yarn, Big O and Brava, and then you will need a 6.5 millimeter and a 9 millimeter gauge, hook size, which I'm guessing, again, just like the last cardigan, that you're probably going to use a smaller hook size to create your ribbing, and then the 9 millimeter to create the rest of your cardigan. Yes, a bulky 5-weight yarn, and I believe I just looked up what Big O and Brava were so that I could see what weight that was to include that here for you guys. So that is the end of this wonderful new pattern roundup for chunky cardigans. I truly hope you guys enjoy these. If you do, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like, and also drop in the comments what kind of pattern roundups you would like to see from me in the coming year. I know that I want to focus on super bulky and bulky patterns, since that is definitely my focus, but I've thought about doing some amigurumi roundups, some home decor roundups, some bag roundups. So if you would love to see me cover a specific topic on one of these roundups, please let me know in the comments. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that pattern roundup in this video format. Let me know what you thought about that. If you would rather just read the blog, or if you like me going through it as a video, if you have a preference. I just thought this might be a fun new way for me to present these roundups to you, and I can't wait to bring you more over the next year. So until next time, happy hooking!